Today is Thursday, January the 14th, 2021. I'm Keith War, and welcome to another episode of Homeless on the Space Coast. And today I am doing an update video on Caleb Maseman.
Hello, everyone.
How old are you, Caleb?
I'm 31 years old. I will turn 32 this May on the 23rd.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Titusville?
I've lived in Titusville my whole life. So, off and on, I've traveled from Titusville to Scottsmore, but I think for a year I traveled around the United States, but I ended up coming back. So I've been in Titusville my whole life.
Was it like grade school here, high school, junior high?
I went to Coquina Elementary. From Coquina Elementary, I went to Imperial Estates, and from Imperial Estates to Jackson Middle School, then from Jackson Middle School to Titusville High School, from Titusville High School to Fieldston Prep, and then back to Titusville High School where I dropped out.
Oh, wow. Okay. And did you ever go back and get your GED or?
No, I still have yet to get my GED. I have issues with passing 5-paragraph essay.
Okay. Have you ever done any kind of job training programs like auto mechanics or?
I did Job Corps there for a little while. I didn't really go that far in it. Now, when it comes down to actual work experience, I've done a lot of work experience. I know how to do a lot of mechanical work on vehicles, but on top of that right there, I also know carpentry. I know how to hang drywall. I know how to finish drywall, spreading mud. I know how to tape. I know how to paint. I know all that right there.
And when was the last time you had done that kind of work?
Currently, I am still doing that type of work. It's just I haven't had any jobs recently. Ever since the coronavirus has hit, I have had no work. It's been a real struggle.
Okay. So what is the cause of your homelessness? Why are you out on the street?
Drugs. Mainly.
Okay.
Drugs were a big issue. You know, I was sexually abused, and they're kind of led to the wrong path, and it started with cocaine and then pills, and then worked its way from cocaine and pills to heroin and meth.
And then what age were you when you started doing, like how old
That's
were
a good
you,
one,
and
right?
what was your first drug that you tried?
The first drug I ever tried, I don't really consider it a drug, but I started smoking weed around 13 years old. And then around 15, I started doing cocaine, and by 16, I was smoking crack and, just partying, doing pills whenever I could.
Where were you doing this stuff? Were you doing it with other high schoolers, with adults, with family members, friends?
Well, from the age of 16 to 21, I was sexually abused, and mainly I hung around that guy and the people that he was pretty much selling me to. So
I don't want you to say who he is, but is he someone related to you? Is he family friend?
No, he's not related to me. He lived down the street from my parents, and it started off where nothing had happened, and one day I ended up getting drunk and trashed basically, and spent the night over at the house, and woke up to him doing stuff, and it started with blackmail, and then went from blackmail to threats, and then so on and so forth, and went on all the way until I turned 21, and I grew some balls and actually did something about it.
Well, so how old were you when he first started molesting you?
I was 16.
Okay. So kind of old enough to...
Yeah, I was old enough to know what was going on, and old enough to know the consequences of it. And at the time, I was in a lucrative business where I don't want to throw myself under the bushes, but let's just say, yeah.
So did he make you feel like you had to keep this secret?
Yeah, in other words, the people that I was working with, they didn't really like gay people, and the fact that he was doing that to me, he was making threats that he was going to tell my parents that I was doing drugs, and I was worried about that. And then on top of that, he was making threats that he was going to tell the people that I was doing business with that I was, doing shit with him, and they would ultimately ended up causing me bodily harm and possibly my family. And then there was the threat where he was threatening my family constantly. And then it became overwhelming. It was like a black hole that sucked me in, and I have mental disabilities, and my mental disabilities made it hard for me to understand that there was stuff that I could do to prevent it and to stop it, but I didn't realize those things until I started going to counseling from Circles of Care.
What kind of diagnosis do you have for your mental disabilities?
What I've been told I've been told I'm bipolar depressive. I have depression issues, serious stress issues, bad anxiety issues. I'm schizophrenic. I suffer from hallucinations, both audio and visual, on a daily basis. And on top of that right there, with the drugs, I get all the problems that come with the drugs, withdrawal symptoms, if I ain't got them, and stuff like that right there. And it's a problem. It really is. And with all those issues combined, I kind of lived in my own little world.
Are you being treated for any of those mental disorders? Are you under doctor's care now, or do they prescribe you anything?
No, I cannot afford doctor's care. I can't afford insurance. I can't afford anything at all.
So this Obamacare that supposedly exists, Medicaid and stuff like that, how come you don't qualify? You're on the street, you're homeless.
I probably do qualify, but because of my social anxiety issues and all that right there, it gets to the point where it gets overwhelming for me to be able to do these things, or I forget to do them.
To go down and fill out the application, you're saying it's stressful.
It's very stressful, yes. And I can go down and fill them out, and I've been approved before, I think, but then I just lost touch with the doctors and everything, because I would pawn my phone for drugs, or something would happen where I would lose contact with my doctors and everything, and I would go for so long in between visits that they couldn't keep a proper diagnosis on me.
And then, there was a couple of years ago where you were in the news. You made the news for...
Yeah, unfortunately, and I am very sorry for what I did.
And what
I broke into quite a few cars around Titusville, and I was very stupid. This is one of my problems, because of my bipolar. I ended up breaking up with a girl, and that fueled by not having the drugs that I needed and not getting the help that I needed, ended up making me go downhill real fast. And by night I was breaking into cars, and by day I was basically sleeping. And it took them a while to catch me, but they ended up catching me, and I did time for it. And I do as much as I can.
So you weren't breaking into houses too?
I didn't necessarily break into a house. I walked onto a property, and I took a generator off of the front porch of the property, and that's what ultimately got me caught.
Okay.
And that's probably what you've seen in the news. But it was that, along with all the car burglaries that I did, that they ended up getting me for. I ended up serving time for burglary of an occupied, grand theft, and burglary of a conveyance, petty theft. And I did about, I want to say about a year, almost a year and a half in jail. Solid time.
And are you on probation now for any of that? Is there any restitution?
No, I did my time, and so that way I wouldn't have no probation. I didn't want to worry about having to go to jail or anything. And since I've been out, I've been trying to find help and trying to prove to my family, yes, I understand I did wrong. Yes, I understand I have addiction problems. Yes, I am seeking help. And I would like them to know that,
well, what do they
I'm still trying.
What do they expect from you? What are they saying that you're not doing that they want you to do? Is there something that you're not complying with? And if you're not,
they want me to go into a rehab program for, I think it's 90 or 120 days or up to a year.
Okay.
And they would like me to get a job and hold a steady job and take medications for my mental illnesses, but it's the medications I have issues with. The medications make it to where I feel personally like I'm a zombie, because some of the medications they put me on, it makes it to where I can't think straight. And then
you're not the first to say that.
Yeah.
So I understand.
With the drugs, it's more of a I don't want to necessarily say that I'm seeking a high, but I've injured myself numerous times in my life. So I deal with pain issues on a constant basis.
Physical pain.
Yeah. So it's difficult for me. I can't get into a pain management doctor because I don't have insurance, A. B, I don't have no documents for any of the injuries I've incurred, because of the fact that most of the work I've done in my life has been under the table. So that being said, I was getting injured when I should have been getting workman's comp and stuff like that right there for not working.
But you had no ability to file workers' comp because it wasn't an
exactly
above board job type thing.
So that basically screwed me. And I would like to get into a methadone clinic or something like that, or a Suboxone clinic, something that would help me, because I'm not capable of being in a drug-free lifestyle unless, of course, if I can go to switching to another substance like Suboxone or methadone or Subutex, or I've done my studies on them all.
Right.
So I'm actively seeking help, and right now I've got an ongoing situation with my grandma where she's about to pass, and my mom's really stressed out with that right there, and I'm trying my hardest not to really bother them with my issues.
Right, which is understandable. How much would you say you spend a day on these habits?
Well, let's see. On a good day, where I've got everything that I would need, I'd probably spent close to $160. On a bad day, bare minimum, I have at least $80 a day habit. And it's very hard for me to make that money. I panhandle. Everybody here, I'm sure people.
All the ways you do.
I panhandle. I work. I do prostitution. So there's a wide range of the things that I've done in my life.
Tell me about the panhandling. What's involved with that, and what kind of problems come from that?
Well, recently, since they've passed a law that I'm not allowed to panhandle in this Brevard County, it's made it extremely hard for me to make any money panhandling. So I've had to go out and find other works or do more prostitution.
How is it? The police are coming over to you and
they're coming over to me and trespassing me and telling me I gotta leave.
Orders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any of those written trespasses on you now that we can see? Or?
No, not currently on me now. I have a stack of them that's pretty decent stacks, probably about a half an inch thick.
Well, I would like to see those. I
would gladly grab them for you.
I would love to show, to educate people about what a trespass is, and what these mean,
A trespass, I can tell you right now what a trespass is. I've heard it so many times. When you're trespassed from a property, they're making you sign a piece of paper stating that you agree not to step foot on the sole property again. If you step foot or get caught on said property again, you are going to jail immediately because you have been caught on that property doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. So now you're no longer allowed on it.
Right. There are a lot of people that are trespassed from the park. They're not allowed. I think the trespass stands for 2 years. But also, I've heard some attorneys say that they're unconstitutional because there's no appeals process.
They are very unconstitutional.
That is the judge, jury, and prosecution right then and there in that trespass warning, if you will. There's like I said, no appeal. So let's talk about the other way of earning money. Let's talk about the jobs. What kind of jobs, and how do you find these jobs?
Well, most of the jobs that I find, that are actual construction work or anything like that right there, I get from panhandling, because when I make my sign saying need work. And I do and will actually work hard for money. A lot of people have screwed me over, so there's been days where I've gone to work and worked a whole full 12-hour day and, be expecting a little bit of money and not get nothing at all because the person just threw me $20 and dropped me off on the side of the road with a
So a lot of these are like manual labor, like digging a ditch all day, or
basically cleaning. Yeah, I do some of the most grimiest, hard to do work. Like I'd have to say some of the hardest work I do is clearing out brush for people on the backs of their properties and stuff, like around lakes and stuff like that.
So people with a little bit of money, and then they stiff you.
Yeah. In other words, yes, they do stiff me, and it does get to be hectic from point to point. So.
And then let's talk about the last thing, the prostitution. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've basically been doing that since I was 16 years old. You see, when I was being sexually abused, I was being sold to multiple different people. I think in total, I got sold to I don't even remember. I know it was above 13 and below 27 different people at one point in time. But now I just, I'll be panhandling and somebody will ride up to me and ask me if I'm willing to do something, and I need the money. I can't turn it down. you know.
Are you, and not that this makes it any better or any worse or anything else, but where do you fit in that as far as sexually? Like, are you homosexual? Are you straight? Like,
I'm bisexual. Some men I find attractive, some men I don't. If there's money involved, I'm attracted to any person.
well, because I know there's I don't want to say any names, but I know that there's one particular female prostitute around here in town, and she's a lesbian, and for her, it is absolutely repulsive to be with men, you know?
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. She's a very dear friend of mine, and yeah, I do what I can to help her out, and, you know, I don't really want to say much about her, but, you know, I do what I can. It's her life, and, you know, I tell her she doesn't have to do it. Well, there's other ways, but...
Well, I mean, the advice you're giving is the same advice that you should be taking.
Exactly.
Well, what about some of your personal safety when you're selling yourself? You know, have you gotten a weapon pulled? Have you?
I have been robbed. I have been sliced. I have been shot at. I haven't been stabbed yet, but I've been lunged at enough times. You know,
have you been raped? Have you been forced to do something you didn't want to do?
I've been forced to do stuff that I don't want to do, but I wouldn't necessarily go as far as rape because I keep a knife on me everywhere I go. I don't have it on me currently, but I literally just got off the job to do this interview, so I don't take a knife to work with me, unfortunately. I probably shouldn't be saying that, but...
And what about STDs? Are you worried about that?
I practice safety. And I haven't had any issues. I've had scares, don't get me wrong, yeah. But, you know, I always try to practice safety because you can never be too safe
condoms,
out here.
We're talking condoms?
Condoms, mouth guards, you know, everything.
And tell me a little bit about these men who hire you. Like, I don't want any names, obviously, but are these business type people? Are they family people? Are they guys you would just never guess in a million years?
I've had people that I would never guess in a million years approach me, and I've had people that just did not seem like they fit the lifestyle, but apparently they had a lot of money and they like to fit the lifestyle, and I've had very rich people. So
you've had professionals,
yes,
people that work out at the Space Center and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've had huge business owners, people that work out at the Space Center, people that work around Titusville. I've had high up legal authority people, stuff like that right there approach me with offers before. And, you know, sometimes it's a little bit scary to take an offer because you don't know if they're actually going to arrest you or if they're undercover or if they're truly legit, and you have to turn the job down and then they approach you again some other time and you take the job.
Yeah.
So I've been in those situations too. I'm lucky to have not gone to jail for it yet. Thank God. Yeah,
really, thank God. And that you haven't been, you know, hurt or something. So let's say in a given month, a 30-day time period, what percentage of the time do you think you're working for the money, panhandling for the money, and prostituting for the money? Like
panhandling for the money at least 65% of the time.
Okay.
Working at least 25, and then I would have to say the other little bit would be prostitution.
Okay. So it's a small part. It's not the majority.
Yeah, it used to be a majority, but, you know, I was a little bit better looking then, and, you know, I was able to carry myself more. Now I'm struggling just to barely keep clothes on my back right now. With the way the coronavirus has gone, no work. No, like, for any business, be it sex industry or actual legit job, I haven't been able to find any work.
What kind of work do you prefer to do? If you could do any dream job in the world, what would you be doing?
I love gardening.
Okay.
That's my favorite work to do. I got a few gardening jobs that I do that help me make money throughout the week. But, you know, I wish I had more.
So not really landscaping, you're talking about actual gardening?
Actual gardening, like going and pulling weeds out of the flower beds, you know, setting up vegetable gardens, strawberry beds, any type of gardening you can imagine, from hydroponics to aquaponics to above ground to below ground, all that right there I can do.
So that's your dream job, you'd love it?
Oh, I love it. I love it to death.
Okay. Let's talk about a little bit about family. Just a little. I've been in contact with one of your brothers. I believe he was in jail for a while or something. He was on Facebook in South Carolina.
My brother, yeah, my older brother, Cameron. He's been doing all right, as far as I know. You know, he's up there with his old lady, and you know, I miss him. You know, I wish
he kind of has his life together. He's on track.
Basically, yeah, I would assume he does. I mean, he hasn't been really getting in trouble. He went to jail for a little bit, yeah, but I don't think the charges were legit.
Since jail, I think he kind of got his life together from the times that I talked to him. And then your brother Valen is pretty well known. Yeah, he's on what is this, Harrison or Hopkins?
He sits up here at Hopkins and Highway 50 every day,
right? Saying looking for work with his phone number on there.
Yep. He's a good dude. He really is. But me and my brother Valen, you know, we've had confrontations. You know, I love him to death, and I'm sure he loves me too. And we both care a great amount about each other, but we have clashing mental issues with each other that prevent us from being able to get along well enough to live together or help us survive. He's got the same, I know he's got a lot of the same issues I got, but just not as bad as I got them. So
let's talk about, have you ever been married? Do you have any children?
I have no kids. I've never been married. I haven't had a relationship that has lasted longer than 6 months in my entire life.
Okay.
I've always been kind of a loner. I'm real shy to talk to people, really, unless, of course, I'm approached by somebody. The only time I ever talk to anybody is if I'm having a bad day and I need to ask some people for some money.
And you and I have bumped into each other now and again at times and things, you know. But
yes, we have.
So you've gotten to know me a little bit, so it's probably easier for you to talk to me.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me to talk to you. I consider you a friend. You help me out from time to time with food, which is a very good necessity right now, especially with being cold and everything. You're always bringing me hot meals.
Right, people don't think of Florida as being cold, but right now we've had the cold weather shelter open several nights because it gets below 45 degrees. They you know, and do you usually make use of the cold weather shelter? Do you go over there?
I have never used it one single time.
Why?
Half the time I either don't know where it's at or I can't get to it.
And it's by the Walgreens.
So I keep a lighter on me all the time. By the Walgreens on Garden?
Yeah.
All right.
But on the opposite
side. Is that the VAV?
Yes, the DAV building.
DAV, okay.
Yes, the veteran organization that you stay there, and from what I understand, they let you take a shower there, and they make you something to eat at night, and then they
have to check that out,
man. Make you breakfast in the morning to send you out. Yes. Yeah, they actually try to, you know, take care of you a little bit to help you out. So, we talked too. You had motivation. You wanted to say what your motivation for doing this interview was, and I'd like you to go ahead and speak directly into the camera and look into the lens and give the message to the person you want most to hear this.
Yeah, I would like my family to know that I'm really trying. I'm here today to ask for some sort of help to get me into a program, and I'm also here to ask for prayers. You know, I've lived a hard lifestyle, and I'm tired of living this lifestyle. I don't want to do the drugs that I do anymore. I'd rather be on supplements if I can. And if I can get the help through anybody, I would gladly take it, especially if it would mean being closer to my family again, because I've lost connection with them over many years now. And I just want them to know that I love them all, and I'm always constantly thinking about them and the things that I've done to make them think the way they think about me.
So you're done running this rat race? Like, you want help?
I've been done running this rat race, man. I've been tired of it for years. Right now, I'm not getting high anymore from doing the drugs that I'm doing.
Right,
I'm just maintaining. And I hate it so much, dude. Like, I'm almost to the point where I want to cry right now. I've lost so many friends. I haven't lost family to the drugs. But, you know, my family's been put in jail. I've gone to jail because of the drugs. You know, I had a good, clean record until I started going downhill real bad. And
from drugs. And what's the drug you struggle with the most?
Heroin.
Heroin, the biggest one. And would you say heroin is, like, widespread here in Titusville? Like, it's everywhere, or?
Oh, yeah, this town's ate up with it. Heroin and meth. This town is ate up with it. I know they just had a huge bust the other day, and I see people that would go to that person around now that are fucking going through hell, and I feel for them. I wish there was something I can do.
Withdrawing from not having.
And I wish there was something I can do for them, but I'm going through hell myself because I basically don't even have hardly any dealers myself. So, I mean, they're starting to shut them down, which is a good thing.
And yeah, it is a good thing, but at the same time, when they shut them down, they need to have help available for those people that are coming off of that stuff.
I believe they really do need help.
Where have you tried? Where have you tried to get into or do?
I've gone to Circles of Care Detox, and I've tried Twin Rivers, but I've never really known of any other organization. I know there's a methadone clinic in Cocoa I've been trying to get into. Tell me about. I knew where it was, and I started going to it for a minute, but I couldn't afford it, so I stopped.
Oh, because it's quite expensive.
It can be if you're homeless.
Like, what are we talking? What would it cost a day, or a week, or a month?
Oh, I don't even know, really. I mean, I know that there's an initial fee. I was never able to come up with it. I think it was like $100-something bucks, and it covers you for a month or something like that.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about like what happens in jail. If you come in and you're opiate dependent and you're in jail, what happens?
Oh, they don't give a shit.
So they don't treat you in any way, shape,
The only time you ever get anything in jail is if you're coming off alcohol. And they'll give you some Valium to help you sleep. But when I went to jail, I fucking had to come off the shit cold turkey.
Watch the effins.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, but I had to come off of it cold turkey, and it was the worst experience I ever went through in my life. I'm talking like somebody was taking my spine and shocking it with a taser all over it while I was doing the gigolo or something like that. It really sucked.
And they just had no help for you whatsoever.
They gave us medications to help us with our anxiety from it, and because I would drink from time to time. They would give me Valium, which would help me sleep, but without the Valium, oh my God, you talk about insane.
And how long did that last? A few weeks?
They give it to you for about 3 days, and then you're off of it.
3 days.
Yeah, long enough to get the drugs out of your system.
So you're not withdrawing after 3 days?
No, you're withdrawing.
Okay, for how long? A month?
Oh man, when I went to jail, I withdrawed for up to like a month and a half, where I would get cold sweats at night, and throughout the entire period of time I was in jail, I would wake up almost every other night, and sweating and shaking and shivering because I didn't have it. Food. You start to get hungry after about 2 weeks because your hunger starts to come back. But then after the 2 weeks is up and you've ate your fair share of food, you just feel sick. And that's one of the problems I got. I hate that feeling. That's one thing I hate the most, is feeling sick from not having drugs. That's another thing I'm just tired of.
Tired of going through that back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to wrap this up, but is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we go? Or are there any messages to any friends or family or anyone who might see this video?
I don't really got many friends anymore. I got you as a friend, my friend Robin. I don't really got nobody else. I've lost all my other friends. I guess I want people to know I'm actually trying. I'm actively trying. I know it seems like I'm not sometimes, but that's because, I have to maintain, and I don't like it, but if I don't, there's pros and cons to it. And if I don't maintain, then I end up going way more into a negative area. And with my mentality, that's bad.
Yeah, it's not safe to be withdrawing on the street. But like I said, I don't know. I feel for you. I see you periodically. And then at that time I saw you in the news, and I know the struggle that you've been through, and we've talked before. And I feel like like when you're around certain people and you kind of get like a vibe or a feeling from them, and you can tell when somebody's a good person. I feel like you're a good person. I kind of get that from you.
I try to do
you're
for
struggling.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I know that you've done wrong, you've done bad things, but not because you're a bad person. You know, you did them because you thought it would make your life better, or, you know, you're just trying to survive in the moment. So, and I get that. How about, you know, do you usually stay out here on your own, or are you with a group of other people that you...
I'm on my own.
So there's no one else watching out for you.
I've lost so much. Every now and then my mom will help me out, or, you know, my dad will help me out. Sometimes my brother, but from a distance, yeah.
So they don't let you in the house?
I stole so much from my parents. I have pawned so much of their shit, and they've gotten it out every single time. They could have put me away for a long time, and, you know, it's my fault that I burned that bridge.
Do you have anything to say to them now if they were to watch this video about that kind of stuff? Do you have any kind of apology?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried telling them that earlier on in the video. You know, I'm actively trying to seek help now, you know, because the fact that I want them back in my life.
I'm just tired of living this way.
I'm tired of it, man. I'm trying to get on disability and trying to get help, and it's just... I feel like
don't know where to start.
I don't know where to start, and whenever they do try to help me with getting on these things, they think I'm giving up, and I just want them to know I'm not. That it's my disability that's making it hard for me.
Right, your mental issues. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, look, I really appreciate you know, doing the interview and letting us catch up with you and what's going on.
Yeah, it's been a few years, and I've been wanting to do another interview, so here we are.
Here we are. We can compare what you look like from years ago, back when you said you chose the life, you were living out in the woods, and it was a choice, which I knew was BS at the time. But, you know, you've come a long way, and, you know, and now you're opening up and saying who you really are, and not putting on this act or this face that you did last time. You know, like you're a genuine person, and you know, you're really in need and stuff. So
yeah.
But hey, you guys can join the Homeless on the Space Coast Facebook page if you'd like to connect with me and people like Caleb here. Maybe you have some help for him, some advice, or you know of a program, or you have some clothing for him, or a job, you know, just something to help him out. I'll have him join the Homeless on the Space Coast Facebook page also. And as always, you guys can connect with me personally at KEITHWOHR on Facebook. I haven't been on there too much lately, but I'm trying to get back on there and connect with people more. But as always, may you be just as blessed as you've blessed others. And until next time, thanks for watching.